I once said in another video that I hate doing negative reviews. The reason for this is not because I don't like talking shit. I fucking love talking shit. The reason is that I don't enjoy subjecting myself to media that is a slog to sit through. We're all gonna die someday, and most of us are already working 30 to 50 hours every week. Then so much of our downtime is spent doing shit we have to do outside of work, and we only have a small amount of wiggle room in which to do something we actually enjoy. And some of you have kids, no idea how you have any time to yourselves, so for most of us, we're only watching one movie a week, or one movie a month, or one movie every 6 months. So why would I, or anyone, want to spend any amount of time experiencing media they don't enjoy? Unless being a critic is your real job, and this isn't mine. So why am I reviewing something I hate? Well, because I didn't just hate the Elvis movie. This film was so bad that my hatred for it became personified the more I watched it. Now, make no mistake, I could not watch this film in one sitting. I would have had a fucking stroke. So I watched it in 20-ish minute increments over the course of a week or so. And make no mistake, the Elvis movie is not just bad. It is worthless fucking dog shit. It's insincere and it's disingenuous. To say nothing of the fact that it does absolutely no justice to Elvis Presley. But even if you're not an Elvis fan, on its own merits, this film is ass. Now, I should start by saying that I had never seen a Baz Luhrmann film before, but I am aware that he has a very specific style that is not everyone's cup of tea. I'm likewise now aware that I probably wouldn't like any of his other films. I've heard a lot of people say he's very much style over substance, and that's true of this film. However, I am a fan of Elvis. I'm not a diehard fan, like I can't name every person who was ever involved in his career or every show he played on, but I love his songs, his persona, his stage charisma, his impact. I'm an above casual fan, and I think the story of his life is definitely fascinating and film-worthy. So, if someone is going to make the first major theatrical Hollywood film about Elvis, the one thing I don't want it to lack is substance. It doesn't have to be accurate. It doesn't have to be clean. Elvis wasn't perfect. But for the love of God, at least get me to care about the movie based on his life. So, let's get into why I think the Elvis movie is an unfucking forgivable, steaming turd. I should preface this review by saying I am forced to use clips from this film that I found on YouTube, rather than my super secret method of getting TV show and movie clips on here. Because this movie just came out, and Warner Brothers already gave me a hard enough time trying to publish a review I made of a film that's 84 fucking years old. So if certain clips don't match exactly what I'm saying in the script, I apologize. Also, spoiler warning, Elvis dies. Where to begin? Where to begin? I think the heart of the problem I have with this film is that it has absolutely zero substance. By the time this film ends, I felt like I didn't get to know Elvis at all. The film is more interested in gimmicky transitions, which are nauseating. The whole movie will be like, look over here! Now look at this other thing! Now look at this! And no attention is given to developing characters or a plot or anything else. There are only like 8 real scenes in the entire movie. You cannot convince me that Baz Luhrmann doesn't have schizophrenia. This film moves so fast it's dizzying, but it's also 2.5 hours long. It's the first movie I've ever seen that's too long and too short. The film itself also looks like shit too, in kind of an overall way. Everything from the sets to the makeup to the effects in this film are hideous. It's loud and obnoxious and painful to look at. The whole movie just looks indescribably fake. I'm also convinced that beneath this film's facade, Baz Luhrmann secretly hates Elvis. Because, and I'm not kidding, there is not one single Elvis song played in this film in its entirety without some type of alteration or remixing. Even in the scenes where he's live, you'll hear an Elvis song start out normal, but then the movie will start remixing the song until it's not his anymore. What's even worse is that there is music in this film that sounds impossibly out of place in an Elvis movie. There's rap, There are clips from Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys songs. The film opens with the theme from 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is also weird. And I can't stress enough how cringe it was to sit through these parts. Baz Luhrmann made an Elvis movie where there is a fucking Doja Cat song, but he couldn't let one fucking Elvis song play all the way through, unaltered in its entirety. And Elvis had a song for every season. Like, you could have absolutely used only his music to advance the story. But seriously, why am I listening to fucking rap? Why was rap or hip-hop allowed to be involved with this film in any fucking way, shape, or form? Rap shouldn't be allowed within 100 feet of the Elvis movie. If the Elvis movie is playing in a theater, the movie in the theater next to it shouldn't be allowed to have rap. Now, for the rest of this review, I'm going to kind of take you on a trip through the movie and pinpoint specific things that are wrong with it. This movie's pacing is fucking atrocious. This film is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and by the time the first 40 minutes is over, Elvis is already living in Graceland and has a film career. So half of the relevant events in Elvis's life just flew by in the span of 40 minutes. There are 2 hours left in this movie. There is a scene that explores Elvis's 2 biggest musical influences, blues and gospel. But in the film, he discovers them on the same day right down the street from each other. Like, you cut this movie into ribbons, but couldn't edit together 2 disparate scenes of him discovering these 2 things on 2 different days? His brother Jesse, a looming shadow over his family, is handled with about as much care as, well, a comic book. No, seriously, a comic book. The scene where he first does drugs is about 5 seconds long. No gravity given to that at all. When the movie finally takes a break for a real scene between Elvis and his mama, the Colonel breaks the 4th wall and says, "Wanna bet?" Like, what? Also, his mother calls him Booby. Booby. Even if this is factual, even if his mother actually called him that, that's a thing you don't have to include in the Elvis movie. You left out his life as a truck driver, the Jailhouse Rock video, his entire film career, and Margaret, all this other shit that is important to the story of Elvis, but you left Booby in. Hey, Baz. Baz, listen to me.
Fuck you.
Then there's this one scene with a bunch of carnies, and these clowns start whispering to each other in elven gibberish. Like, very clearly in a language not of this earth. There's a scene where Elvis breaks up with a chick, and we have no idea who she is. She wasn't in the movie till this scene. Why do we care? Then there's the scene where the senator is having a business meeting while his family watches TV loudly in the same room. The hound dog scene. Now, I had to look this up. Apparently, when he sang Hound Dog on the Steve Allen Show, Steve Allen tried to embarrass him by having an actual dog involved in the performance. The reason I had to look this up? Because the scene in which this happens makes no fucking sense in the movie. It isn't explained. As the movie progresses, there is a scene where Elvis and B.B. King see Little Richard perform, and that's actually okay. It might be the closest any scene in the movie comes to not sucking. The death of his mother is handled poorly. Like, we don't see his direct reaction to being told she died, just the Colonel talking to him later when he's crying in a closet at her funeral. The assassinations of MLK and Bobby Kennedy take more focus in the film than Elvis's courtship of Priscilla. This film has its priorities all fucked up. It chooses to slow down in the weirdest fucking places. Then we arrive at Elvis's comeback. Halfway through the movie. Half fucking way. This was the 3rd act of his career, and it's at the halfway point of the film. There is still an hour and 20 minutes left. Then he signs the Vegas contract, and there's still 1 hour left. I don't think Elvis was even alive for an hour in real life after he signed the Vegas contract. There is a scene in this film that I think does have a redeeming feature. The "we are 2 lonely children" scene was hilarious. I actually did laugh during this scene, which means this one part of the movie technically imparted some joy to my life. He convinces Elvis to take him back because he'll be lonesome tonight. If the rest of this movie was as funny as this scene, I would actually enjoy it. And my god, The scene where he dies. He gets in a plane, and as it's flying away, it's overlaid with clips of him talking gibberish to himself. Then the film tries to coerce sadness out of you by showing real recordings about his death instead of anything original. But then, the movie plays a clip from his final concert. It's Austin Butler's face CG'd on top of Elvis's. Now, it's bad enough that Austin Butler couldn't put on weight or wear a fat suit, which is obvious because Elvis is never fat the entire movie, even during the time when he should have been. Like, okay, pretty boy, you couldn't not be pretty for a couple scenes to portray fat, gross Elvis. Okay. But then it shows the real Elvis anyway, right after that. So what was the point? What was even the point of doing that? Then the film ends with In the Ghetto, which is a song that is more relevant to Elvis's early life as a poor kid than it is to the end of his life. Speaking of his songs, one other thing is missing from the movie. They never show anyone writing songs for Elvis. The thing that was the main focus of Elvis's career, music, is never given any attention. Like, they never address the fact that he didn't write his own music or how he felt about that. Did he hate some of the songs that he had to record? Did he get to pick any of the songs? None of this was explored, and this is a crucial element to who Elvis is. Like I said before, Baz Luhrmann secretly hates Elvis. Why else would he make this film? The directing, writing, and most of the acting is garbage. The camera work and editing is fucking nauseating. This film is a fecal monument. But I guess I haven't talked about the acting yet, have I? Austin Butler's performance, overall, is decent. He does have moments of really, really good acting some of the time. But every time he screams or pounds his fist against something in anger, it's a little off. Not too off, but a little off. Elvis being a weakly written character in his own movie doesn't help this. I feel like Elvis wasn't really on screen long enough for Austin Butler's performance to be standout anyway. But everything about Tom Hanks' performance feels unnatural. I think Tom Hanks is usually a great actor, but he's not good at accents. Every time he's tried a weird accent other than Forrest Gump, it sounds like this.
Yes, it is a lie.
And again, that lonely children scene was fucking hilarious, and it's not supposed to be. Oh boy. I don't know what else to tell you. This movie is not just bad. It's horrifyingly bad. I pride myself on being pretty much unoffendable, but I think this movie may have actually offended me. I don't know why else I'd be so mad. Am I offended? Is this what it's like being offended? The film is an obviously shallow attempt by a director who secretly hates Elvis to go, look what I can do. And what he can do isn't impressive. But what I can't wrap my head around is that there are people who enjoyed it. It has a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is 94%, which just goes to show you that most idiots who don't get paid for their opinions are just as stupid as the idiots who do. There are plenty of movies I don't like that most people do. There are plenty of movies I do like that most people don't. But I can't wrap my head around this one. I got such little enjoyment out of this film that I can't understand how anyone else could get anything out of it. There's one video out there of a person saying Baz Luhrmann made her an Elvis fan. How? Fucking how? Did we watch the same fucking movie? Are you on drugs? There's another guy who says he hates Baz Luhrmann but liked Elvis. Jesus fuck, how bad are Baz Luhrmann's other movies? And that's the added layer of dog shit on top of this film. It's bad enough just as a film, but as the first theatrical biopic about Elvis Presley, it's lower than dog shit. It's dog shit that got rained on. It's fucking sludge. Fuck this movie. You know what's better than this movie? Every movie the real Elvis was ever in, even the shitty ones. Bubba Hotep did Elvis more justice. Johnny Bravo did Elvis more justice. Rockadoodle did Elvis more justice. Every Elvis impersonator who ever lived does Elvis more justice than this movie ever could. And wait, did I just find a silver lining in all of this? Yeah, that's right. Elvis is bigger than this movie. Elvis left a mark on music and pop culture that has never been equaled. There were all sorts of things made by him, about him, or inspired by him before this film, and there will be plenty more after it. The music, the persona, the charisma, the life, the good times and bad. And this movie, sucking fat chode, doesn't take away from any of that. Booby here can't erase that no matter how hard he tries. Would it have been nice for the cinematic biopic of Elvis to not be a worthless fuckfest? Yes. It would have been better than nice. But the fact that this monument of dog shit could never break the impact Elvis made or overshadow it does give me some comfort. Because we still have the music, we still have the videos, and they're there anytime we want them. Baz Luhrmann's Elvis is dog shit. But the real Elvis will never leave the building. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to do the monkey. Guys, thanks again for listening to me talk shit. How did you feel about the Elvis movie? Are you one of the strange folks who thinks Booby actually did a good job? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, click that Patreon link, tell me I'm wrong, or tell me to go fuck myself, etc., etc., etc.